Okay, can you hear me? Okay, welcome everyone. Nice to see you. Any questions? Adios. Any questions? If not, then again, repetition is helpful, especially in time. Non-duality is based on a premise, in a way, as Ramana would state it, being ourselves reality. Being ourselves reality. It's not becoming reality as ourselves, it's being ourselves reality. Yeah? It's not becoming reality as ourselves. It's being ourselves reality. Yeah. One emphasizes the reality, the other emphasizes a self. Yeah. So being ourselves reality is different than ourselves becoming reality. The emphasis is completely different. So the emphasis is a negation of the idea of a self that's going to get something or lose something, arrive at some place, leave someplace. All of that is sort of like a geographical condition that has no sway in everywhere. Yeah. So everywhere and nowhere, there's no place to go and there's nowhere that you could leave from. It's like the Hotel California, so to speak, from the song. Yeah. So being ourselves reality, and that obviously not seeming to have much sway in this experiential event, we need to look at why that's not so. Yeah. Why is it not so? Being ourselves reality, we seem to be irritable, restlessness, and discontent. We tend to promote suffering. Even when we're looking for relief from suffering, it actually promotes more suffering. Even when we hear the word awakening, it actually adds more weight and allows us to travel lighter. And enlightenment is the real kisser, because people drive themselves crazy with the idea of enlightenment, them not being enlightened, which isn't so bad. But if they see someone else that is enlightened, that's intolerable. You know, I've gone to a lot more talks than that person has. Yeah. So this is the thing is, the emphasis, all right, being ourselves reality is the assumption or premise. If you're not into that, then, you know, this is a curiosity in a sense. Yeah, maybe it will be interesting to hear. But if you don't have a suspicion that maybe you are what you're looking for, then keep looking for it. And then that will serve you also, because that's going to fail. And therefore you'll get there one way or the other. This is the easiest off the way. Yeah. You just come to a little talk once a week, and basically the direction is set. Instead of looking for what you are from what you're not, we're going to look at what you're not from what you are. Yeah, that's the whole point. So this isn't about a new understanding for you to get. It's basically, it puts into high contrast the misunderstandings we're living under. Yeah, or as. That's basically, to me, how it is. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. I got a message from Rhoda, who's right here. Thank you, Rhoda. Yes.
Bodhi has a question.
Who?
Bodhi.
Bodhi. All right. Bring her on, or him on. Yeah. Go ahead, Bodhi.
You helped me a lot through the years. I saw you in Santa Cruz like 2 years ago, or when was it? You know, and I've tapped in. I've tapped in since, and it's just delightful to watch. You know, everything, the atmosphere, everything. It's lovely, and it really helped me figure some things out. You know, and now I feel a certain peace, and I'm favoring it by every time it comes. I just stay with it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's going on good, and I'm thankful to you. I think you know the simplicity of what you say is fantastic, just top notch. So thank you. I have no question.
You're welcome, Bodhi. You'll be getting a check in the mail soon. Thank you.
I'm sure.
Testimonial. It's like an Amazon review. Product, but this is an unbiased review. Yeah.
I love your laughter too, man. You know.
Well, that's we can all laugh together, I hope.
Yeah, I hope you come back here too. Of
The
course.
Santa Cruz? Yeah.
I'll try to get some people together.
Invite me and get a tofu pie from Staff of Life. I'll be there.
Okay, that's a deal, man. All right, you got it.
A berry.
I'll buy a couple so everybody can indulge, yeah?
Oh, great.
All right. Excellent. Go on, man.
You can get in touch with me through the Zen Bitch Slap and just, we can talk.
We'll be in touch.
All right, thank you, Bodhi. We are in touch right now, eh?
We are. It's fantastic. Live. It's great, man.
There you go. So, all right. Anyone else? Anyone else want to sing Paul's Immeasurable Treasures? Sing a song. Sing a song.
We could sing Happy Birthday, Paul, a couple days late, but we could all sing Happy Birthday.
That ship is passed. That ship has sailed. Yeah.
No, Paul, you said you celebrate for a week. Remember?
I know, but the singing ends after one day. Yeah, that's all. The celebration is a different version. Yeah. But thank you for the sentiment. Anyway, all right. So listen, as Bodhi just shared, it's pretty simple. It's basically doing what you're usually doing, but applying it to that which is usually seemingly doing shit. Yeah. Instead of constantly looking from what we're not and trying to find what we are, we just turn it around, assume that the seeing is from what you are, and then look at what you're not, which is a mental activity. Yeah. We like to capture it with the term selfing. Yeah. So selfing is a very simple meaning. It's the act of being identified as self. Yes. So the selfing is going on, and then there's the feeling of being a self. There's no feeling of being a self. The feeling of being a self is generated by the selfing. Yes. So the selfing, which is a verb, is used to imply a noun, just like everything else is going on. In this case, though, the noun that's implying is taken to be us. Yeah. So it implies that not that we're going to be a self or we once were a self. Yes, it says we once were a self and we are going to be a self and we are that self now. Yeah. It's sort of like, it's described perfectly by simple examples. When people hear the message, they get in touch with me, not so much anymore. And they'll say, "Hey, Paul, I've been selfing all day." Yeah. So the feeling of being the one who's doing the selfing is the product of the selfing. Yeah. That's what the selfing is used to imply, is that one. And in the case of that caller, it had worked, so to speak, because he was speaking as if he was doing the selfing. Yeah. Or I get another call that selfing has been driving me crazy all day. It's the same thing. Yeah. One case you're seen as the subject and you're doing the selfing. One case you're seen as the object that the selfing is doing you. Yeah. It's the same. It's duality right there. So sometimes you're cast as the subject, sometimes you're cast as the object. Yeah. But the subject is always seen as an object. Yes. And the object is always attributed with the subjective quality. Yeah. Now, if you could just see subjectivity without an object, there you go. That's what's looking. Yeah. What's looking is not the who that thinks it's looking. It's not a body. What's looking is what you're looking for. So what you're looking for is not going to be found in a body. or as a body. Yeah, it may come through a body, but it's not going to be found. Yeah, so because you're already that. Yeah, the body gives you a sense that you're something else, even to your own nature. Yeah, so the mental nature becomes the real one, and now you're trying to get another one called the spiritual nature, but you are of spirit. Yes, it's not a nature, a possibility of acquiring another nature and affix it to the mental one. It's not that way. The mental state doesn't become spiritual. It tries to mimic spirituality or what it thinks it would look like. Yeah. That's why Jesus Christ is seen as, a surfing dude from the West Coast, not an, Arabic or what. You know what I mean? It's just that we do this all the time. The head does. Yeah. That's when we hear that we're made in the image of God, we think God's a body, just a better looking body maybe than I am. It's just insane. We keep seeing everything and framing it as what we're not, from what we're not. Yeah. Do you think there's going to be more relief the longer you go on that trail or that rail? It's going to geometrically progress. You want to get to the bottom of it, yeah? Non-duality is a negation of the duality. The duality is the activity we really express, yeah? The mental state takes subjectivity to be an attribute of a body. You can't get more dualistic than that. Yeah. Why do you want to get to page 58? Just go to the author page. See, there is no author, and you'll read the book a lot differently. Yeah, you will. I swear to God. You'll lose interest in shit that's worthy to be interest lost of, You can. You'll lose interest in a lot of stuff. And it will be so economical. You'll be pared down and you won't miss any of the shit that fluffs off. Yeah. You thought you would. You were defending it as if it was going to affect you. But basically all you do is, in a way, is get lighter. Yeah. And in this world of heaviness and lightness is a nice way to lean into. It is. You travel lighter through the day. What today is? Tuesday. Yeah. Without any so much thought or effort. I love skillful means when you need them, but the best part of skillful means is not needing them, really. Yeah? It's great to know them. It's sort of like to have a tool belt, but you're not strapping it on all day. Yeah? Because the tool belt itself is heavy, isn't it? All these little tricks and shit to get into the moment. Why not understand you've never been out of a moment? It's much easier. Yeah? All the ideas of getting into the moment are predicated on an insane idea that you could be out of the moment. How can you actually be out of the moment?
Well, I have a question.
Who's this?
It's Andy.
Oh, Andy. Andy, you're getting near your quota of questions. You're getting close to the end.
Well, I still have room in my quota. So,
yeah. All right. What's going on?
It's a simple question, but some teachers talk about a remembrance, and I'm wondering if that concept resonates with you at all, or if it resonates with your experience.
No.
No. Okay.
Remembrance is of time. Yeah, only in time could you forget something, really. Yeah. So we're not of time, so we don't need to be remembered. Yeah. I don't feel so. But whatever, again, if you look at it from the Course of Views understanding, we're big M mind dreaming itself out of the dreaming. So if you think if that mind is going to use remembering what it is while it seems to be in a state of forgetting it, far out, it will work. Yeah. Because whatever mind, that's the way it goes in the Course in Miracle view. In this view, in the way I feel is like Ramana says, this is always realized. So what's there to remember? Yeah. Remembering again is assuming that you forgot. I just don't believe that. You know, the head can forget, but I'm not that. So, yeah, there's a point where you reach where you stop serving the head, and you're free from that slavery. Yeah, you stop serving it. You stop having to explain to it why thinking about next week isn't working. You just, you just freaking let it have its little tantrum and its activity. And basically, like in a Zoom, instead of it like blurring all the squares, you see it very defined in one square. Yeah. It's not like spread all over. You see it. Yeah. And what comes with that seeing is an acceptance. Yeah. Because this is not volitional. We're not doing it. I hope if people could see that, that goes a long way. This sense of being the doer of this stuff is why we don't want to really look at it. It's not volitional. It's mechanical. Yeah. As long as Paul seems to appear, as Ramana Maharshi said in a beautiful thing, they were asking him again of self-will or predestination. And he said, as long as there's a sense of individuality, there'll be a sense of free will. Yes? As long as there's a sense of time, and in remembering and forgetting, what gets reinforced is the one who believes it forgot, and the one who believes if it remembers, it won't forget. Yeah? The emphasis again in the forgetting and the remembering is to emphasize the one that forgot and the one that remembered. We're negating that one, yeah? So remembering and forgetting isn't that it's just, it doesn't hold much weight in from where I'm sitting, yeah? So, yeah. So no, I don't, yeah. Is remembrance of time? Yes. Yeah. Is it, Andy? Yeah. Is it of time? Yeah. So
Yes.
the only way that would work would be in the statement of the Course, dreaming oneself out of the dreaming. So, because the quality of the dreaming is time, and then maybe you can use time to dream yourself out of time. But it's just much simpler to me, which is you are that, and really that's that. And when that certainty anchors, it brings out all the misunderstandings and the idea of volition and doership, and you start seeing it not as someone who wants to get out of it, but as never being in it and just seeing it. Yeah. And a lot gets explained. Yeah. So no, I'm not a believer in we're gonna sit now and remember something. Yeah. I would much rather forget that which wants to remember. Forget self. Because it's the one that's setting up requirements and conditions, and I'd rather just forget that than remember what I am. What I am's taking care of itself completely. It doesn't need any remembering on my part. It's quite established, yeah. Yeah. But whatever, everyone has their how they see it. Yeah. I'm not in argument with that. I don't listen to other people and stuff. It was clear to me that we just had to have like a mom and pop independent bakery, just, if you like the muffins that come out of Zen Bitch Slap, there'll be fresh ones every day. If I hear other recipes and ingredients, I can imagine that cake, but it wouldn't be yeah, there'd be something missing in there. So I much rather talk from this dog shit level of awareness. It's really it's proved its value over the years. Yeah. So.
Hey, Paul, Marisol has a question.
Who?
Marisol.
Oh, Marisol, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Paul?
Good.
Long time listener, first time being here live.
Well, me too, honey. Thank you.
Feeling a bit nervous. Today, during our heart explorations group through Awakening Together, I had some clarity, and it kind of like fits into everything that I'm hearing, I think. Because I was talking about how a lot of the times I get very frustrated when I'm listening to someone that's not coming from, I know you don't use ego, or you use more like action figure and stuff like that, but that's how I see it. Like, when I'm listening to like someone like you, or like Regina, or someone that this person sees as coming from a place that I really would love to be, a lot of frustration comes up. It kind of ebbs and flows. But for the past couple of days, it was coming up really strongly. And that kind of like, then I start kind of going down a spiral. And I realized today, for the first time, that whatever is wanting or feels frustrated is not where you guys are coming from, or it's coming from a different place, and it's never going to get that. And it was it kind of shook me. And I don't know, I guess like I couldn't stop the tears, just realizing that. So I've been sitting with that all day, and I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on that. I pretty much feel like that's kind of what, because it feels like there's, the person, the ego, the action figure, and I identify with that. And when I do identify with that, then there's a lot of suffering. But then I can also experience truth, or Holy Spirit, or whatever anybody wants to call it, but not of the personhood. So I feel like it's like I'm somewhere in the middle. And just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
First of all, nice to meet you, honey. And yeah. Of course, that which is frustrated and stuff wants something, yes? So it wants something that it believes it doesn't have. Yeah. So in recovery, we speak of it as there's reliance on this self, and this self's activity is wanting to, it doesn't want to lose what it has, and it wants to get what it wants. Yeah. Those desires produce a field of anxiety that the mental state riffs off of. Yeah. And it creates a lot of activity and agitation. Yeah, that space that you felt today, those tears were probably rich. Have you ever had rich sadness? Yeah, it's a very, usually it'll be followed by some laughing sooner or later, close to it. Yeah, that's relief. Yeah. So what is that relief of? You can give it a title, let's say the bondage of self. Yeah. So now you've had a sample, and you've had many, and all of us have a sample of relief from the bondage of self. Yeah. Now, hopefully you're armed with an understanding that something is going to arise that's not of you, and is going to claim that relief of the bondage of self and present the story as I'm the one who has relief from the bondage of self, and I want more relief. So now it gets agitated about the relief because it wants more or stabilization. Yeah. So now you start seeing it. Yeah. It's not enough to have the relief. You have to see what arises that claims the relief. Yeah. Because this is what occurs. A lot of people have relief, and yet then it gets co-opted very quickly. Yeah. And now they're seeking for more relief as what they're not. Yes. Now you can have an understanding of it. You can acquire an understanding through satsang. You can. Yeah. That will give you a certain pair of glasses so that you can see what you used to look from. You'll see it. Yeah. So now you see the relief is coupled with the relief from that which claimed the relief. Yeah. It's like having a ticket that has to be stamped twice. Yeah. Like on a train, it gets 2 clicks and you realize you never left home. Yeah. So you have the relief, and now you know that something is going to claim that relief. There's an activity, and you're going to see that also. Yeah. And that's going to extend the relief, not for you, but from you, really, because that's what the relief is. It's from the bondage of self, not the self getting freed from any bondage. It's from the bondage of self. The bondage of self is that claiming of everything. Yeah? Yeah, so there you go, honey. Come to satsang. You'll be given your glasses when you need them. Yeah? The eyes don't need correction. Yeah? There's certain, they need help. Yeah? The understanding helps the eyes to see. Then you can put down the understanding and you'll live from a vision. Yes? Yes. And you'll recognize what you used to not see. And then that relief will go untouched. Yes? And it will form into a basis. And you'll be traveling lighter. And there'll be a lot of loss in interest in wanting to travel lighter because you will be traveling lighter. Yeah? And you'll lose interest in finding relief because you'll be in relief. And you won't be sold a bill of goods on how to get somewhere that you already are, because you'll have a sense of being already are there. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You'll be, yeah. Yeah. You'll be relieved of spiritual consumerism in a sense. Yeah. Being ourselves reality. That's it. So, see, that's what happened with me. You know, I had, let's say you have these, you think life-altering events, yeah? And then hopefully, in hindsight, quickly, hopefully, you'll see that the epiphany ended usually coinciding with a line of thought, which is, I'm having an epiphany. Yeah. So sometimes the contrast was so stark coming out of, let's say, a very, very neutral, no thing base, to see the claiming, it's easier to see. Yeah. It's in high contrast. Yes. That something arises and then claims. Well, we're living from there because our inherent nature has always been here, always at all times. Yeah. So it seems to be lost by that claiming. The mental state claims to be the real nature that may have had the nature before. Yeah. And then lost it and then it's going to have it again. But see, it's the false claim of the throne, so to speak. Yeah. So now you start seeing the usurper coming in because you're always home. There's nothing that's before the seeing, nothing. Yeah. You'll see what you used to look from. You'll see an activity that you used to start from. You'll see it. Yeah. Because now you'll be rooted in the true starting point, which has no beginning or end. There is something here now that's before time. It's us. Yeah. That awareness. So, yeah. What I found the most helpful was the secondary understanding of how the mental state claims everything, because I saw it did it in my own experience many times. Yeah. I noticed it that before I even started to meditate, it has had me as the meditator. Yeah. And therefore all the actions of meditating had an agenda going on that I had no control over, which was to support and reinforce the idea of being the meditator. I had no freaking idea this was going on. Those 14 hours of sitting, I thought I was getting out of something. I didn't know they were being used to reinforce that which I wanted to get out of. I had no idea until I did. So I'm just trying to save us time and shit and share it with you and put an emphasis on it week after week, because it's not going to be put to sleep by a great experience. As soon as you show up, it's there. Yes. So let's see it instead of look from it. Yeah. Yeah. The claiming doesn't mean anything is claimed. It's just implying something. All it is reaching out. It never gets, it never grabs. It tells a story that it already has it, which is not true. So you'll see it. You'll see that movement of claiming from before, not after the fact of the claiming, before the fact. And before the fact, there is no completion in the claiming. The claiming doesn't make anything so. It doesn't. Yeah. That contract can be broken with seeing like that. Yeah.
Does that still arise in you?
Of course it does. As long as the action figure is in action and has a brain, it's going to come up. Yeah. Because it's running a narrative while I'm living. Now, to me, I love it because it's a huge source of comedic relief. I find it hilarious in its presentation. Yeah. It's like having your own Seinfeld show with you all day. You know, 1 week at George is starring, then it's Kramer, then it's Jerry, then it's an ensemble. It's just, and then you're like, I've seen this one before. Yeah, I did. I sort of like that one. Yeah. Don't they know who I am? Something like that. How dare they treat me like everyone else? Of course it comes up. It doesn't have the volume, let's say. Yeah? Thank God. It's nowhere near the steering wheel, thank God. It doesn't have control of the intercom. It's just playing like in the background. Yeah. Yeah. Usually. Yeah. I'm happy to meet you, honey. Yeah. And as long as I can be of help by not being helpful, I'll be there for you. Seriously. That's, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm very seemingly very flaky, but I'm persistent in the flakiness. Yeah. I will inevitably show up. Yeah. I like seeing people travel lighter. You know, I feel like the action figure does well with purpose. So the action figure has begrudgingly accepted that this is its purpose, to share a message. Yes? Now, it's not the messenger, it's just the vehicle. But I'll tell you, it's given it a meaning that it couldn't acquire on its own. Yeah? Being used by this message has given it a meaning it could never come up with by itself. So, yeah. I have a lot of honor and awe about you know, that activity of spirit, let's say. Yeah. So I'm
Hey,
so
Paul.
happy I met you. Yeah, live. Yes.
Angie has a question.
Angie, yes. I can't hear you, Angie. No.
I was saying I missed an opportunity to meet you personally many years ago because at that time I wasn't ready, I guess, to hear this message. So I was on my journey, you know, going
Yeah.
through all kinds of learning about Buddhism and getting into other Eastern philosophies. And then I ended up here. So I listened to a lot of your talks on YouTube, and now I'm attending this live meeting. So thank you so much. My question is actually a request for advice for the action figure. So in today's world, a lot of our jobs are using the conceptual mind. So a lot of computer work and all kinds of other intellectual activities. And as Wang Po said, you have to get rid of the conceptual mind to allow the mind, the Buddha mind, to receive the message. So there are two different kind of advices when it comes to jobs and even relationships. One line that says you kind of have to align yourself with the same people that are kind of similar with your view of spirituality, and you have to not have to, but it's beneficial if you have some kind of purposeful jobs to help other people. And then there's another line of thought that says these are adversities that you kind of have to work through. And there's if you avoid them now, you're going to run into the same adversities later, and you're going to find yourself in the same point. So you kind of have to work through adversities. So this is a request for advice for the action figure, which because I mean the idea is to try to get rid of the conceptual mind as much as possible to make room for that Buddha mind to hear the message, right? In that sense.
No, not necessarily. The conceptual mind is an activity. It would be, let's say, an activity representing content, where there's the Buddha mind is context. Yeah. So the Buddha mind is totally still the Buddha mind with the appearance of the conceptual mind. Yes.
but
It's
doesn't,
the conceptual mind that says it has to be destroyed to get to the Buddha mind. So, yeah.
so
I think
don't all these activities like human activities, jobs, and maybe struggle with relationships, don't they kind of enforce and develop the conceptual mind?
they cannot. It can go either way, yes? Sometimes it's nice when the conceptual mind is reinforced. So when you finally see it from somewhere else, it's very clear. Yeah? Yeah? Just like a lot of people, they arrive at satsang, or let's say non-duality, through a lot of searching. Yeah?
Yeah.
And the non-duality negates all the searching or the searcher, but through searching, they arrive at the point where they hear the message. So everything is put to use here. So the conceptual mind has value by seeing that you're not it. Yeah. And then there's a loss of interest in the conceptual mind. The conceptual mind, there was a guy, Ramesh Balsekar, that would try to be very helpful. And he would have the working mind and then the psychological mind. And he says the working mind's quite good. Yeah. It sees a nut and finds a bolt that fits it and goes on. It may be much easier if there was less of the psychological mind says, well, you're not a good nut and bolt putter or whatever, that yapping. But there's an aspect of mind, the mental activity, that's quite successful in its endeavors, and it's useful here. It's just what kind of role it plays. Is it representing you? Yeah? Or is it an activity in what you call living? So again, it's always that which is before, not the idea of who's going to come after. It's mind, big M mind, is going to give the meaning to whatever's going on. Yeah? So maybe it could give the meaning to conceptual mind as the ability to block me from Buddha mind. I don't give that that's not in place where I'm sitting. Yeah. There's the activity of conceptual mind, and then there's Buddha mind. They're not against each other. There's one appears in the other. Yeah.
Yes, I know there's that saying that before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. It's just
Yeah.
that the activities nowadays are more complex and involve much more thinking. And
Well, you know how I see it in my own experience. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, finding someone else to chop the wood and carry the water. That's how it's worked with me.
you're not there because you're not there.
I see, yeah, all these things have their value and meaning. Yeah. Yes, but again, if you want to see a hierarchy, I would say that which is the space for all value and meaning to appear and disappear, I would say that has the most meaning and most value. So mind is mind, no matter what's going on in it. Yeah. What's going on in it isn't changing the nature of Buddha mind. Yeah. So if we believe that we're going to have to get rid of concepts, I would just question who is it that believes they have to get rid of conceptual mind. I would say it's probably the conceptual mind. Because they always love to prop up their relevance when they're, yeah. So, yeah. And working, I was lucky enough, I didn't find it in a job, but from the addiction that used this action figure for quite a while, I was introduced to a way of life called recovery, and there was a lot of purpose in that. That was very good for the action figure. Yes, the action figure wasn't sort of so much turned in on itself. It was put to use, and that brought an ease and comfort. Yeah. To the action figure for since then. So my job isn't a job. The action figure's job was to practice the principles of recovery in all my affairs. And if I couldn't, limit the affairs until I could, and then help other people to achieve recovery. Yeah. So that's basically the agenda of the action figure, to be available and present. Yeah, so that's worked. The jobs I had was just house painting, which was very cool because you'd go into a zone for quite a while when you're painting a house. Yeah. You could lose yourself and just be off, and time would fall away and everything. So there was a lot of zone experiences with that job. And then I didn't have any boss, because I'd always disappoint a boss because I don't have much of ambition. Yeah.
So that's the thing, a job like that puts you in the zone. Maybe that could be more beneficial than a job that requires your attention and focus and a lot of thinking.
It could be. Again, this is advice from an action figure.
Yeah.
Question the advice coming from the action figure, Paul. Because Paul wasn't really too successful as an action figure. Seriously. I mean.
So then relationships, then?
Relationships, I'm on an upswing, which I think is great. Yeah. So starting at the point of an inability to have a viable relationship with another person, there's been advancement in that over the years. Yeah. Which is awesome. There's been a lot of changes that weren't caused by action. Yeah. A lot of the changes in the action figure life wasn't produced by its own actions. Something acted upon the action figure, some influence, and changed it quite a lot. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah.
It's almost as if you're submitting yourself to be changed. You realized that you're not going to cause, you're not. I was a master of changing how I felt by shooting dope and stuff and drugs. Yeah. I could change how I felt in a second by putting a needle in my arm. Yeah. This isn't like that. I finally reached a point as an action figure to submit myself to be changed by a program of recovery with the Holy Spirit, if as Marisol said, or the higher power. That's how I picture it. So something has worked on the action figure and has brought what the action figure could not do to come to pass. Yes, something has done for me what I couldn't do for myself. So I never really had a real job. Seriously, the jobs I had, I got fired from, or other people wanted the job more than I did because I didn't have that strong of a drive. Yeah. So I basically did stuff that came up and, just got to this point. Really, with, so, but now I have a loving relationship, and I can give love and receive love, and a lot of the inadequacies or defects of character of the action figure have been changed sufficiently enough for it to be able to express and to receive. Yeah, pretty good. But I don't know. I don't have much advice about that. With the message, I don't think it's about getting rid of anything. It's about losing interest in it. Yeah. So when you lose interest in the conceptual mind, it's as if it's disappeared. It doesn't have to disappear. It's an aspect that's going on. But the loss of interest in it usually goes to and emphasizes something else. Yeah. The conceptual mind is great in what it can do. I don't think a life should be run by it. No. So, yeah. I hope that helped. I don't know. I'm not yeah. I don't work much now anymore. I can't paint my knees. I got to a point that I became highly specialized. I could only paint 4 feet and below because I couldn't stand up on my legs anymore. So I was a master of baseboards and low-hanging trim. So life has taken care of me. Yeah.
Yes, I think a lot of people who have lived for a while can testify, like it's usually called opportunity. All these changes that come to you and change your life, and it's not you doing them, but these opportunities, just spring out of nowhere, and then suddenly you find yourself in a new job or a new relationship. So
Yes. Yes, quite a lot. I mean, obviously, there's a narrative that you come first and then life occurs, but really, you're an afterthought. So life's happening. There's doing without a doer, as supposedly Lord Buddha said. Events are happening, deeds are being done, but there's no individual doer thereof. Yeah. So that's not just a statement that you read, you live it. Yeah. You have a sense of that. Yeah. Yeah. I love the expression in Sufism, like Hafiz and Rumi. Of course, they're super clear. To be able to express that clarity in poetry and shit's mind-boggling. But they love to call that which is the beloved. Yeah, that's the artistic use of the action figure to such a beautiful level. So I like it in Recovery, the Higher Power, or the Holy Spirit in the Course in Miracles. I have an intimate sense of that power working through the action figure. Yeah. Very, yeah. Yeah, it's left a huge impression on the action figure. Yeah. Because I was in a lot of weird situations. And basically, I seem to have been the hopeless variety of addict. Yeah. And then something did for me what I couldn't do for myself, struck me sober. And it did something that most shit never does. It took away the activity of the problem. I haven't had a thought or a feeling about drinking and using for almost 34 years now. Not a strong one, ever, ever, ever. Never had a strong feeling or thought about it, where I was completely obsessed around it before. Yeah? What a solution that was. A solution where the problem doesn't exist for me anymore. That's incredible. Incredible. Yeah. I know where the credit goes to. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can somewhat relate to that because growing up, I was quite the carnivore. I ate a lot of meat. And at one point, I decided to stop consuming meat because of all the signals that I got from everywhere around me related to sustainability and how the animals were treated, and that meat is not that beneficial for health. So I was feeded constantly all these signals, and then for me to give up meat, it happened like that. So as you said, I did not have any craving or anything after that moment.
Yeah. So that can be a way life unfolds for you.
Yeah.
Maybe all the time, maybe a lot of the time, maybe only once or twice. It doesn't matter. What to me is like a call and response. You see that which is moving, the unseen hand, and you respond to that, and you honor that grace or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's the prayer of the action figure, is gratitude and awe and wonder. Yeah. That's the best song it can sing. It can't reach the super high notes, but it can do that. Yeah. So, yeah. So as an action figure, yes. I feel the action figure is an expression and an observer. It's not an observer. It's an expression and an observing. There's no noun. Yeah, that's what it does. So something works on it. It observes it later on, and it expresses great gratitude, coming from the knowledge that something has done for it what it couldn't do for itself. It's beautiful. It's like when you help an animal. Sometimes a wild animal seems to signal a person, hey, I'm stuck here. So the person goes over there and loosens that shit up, which the animal couldn't, and the animal runs away. But then the animal runs back into that person and shows some kind of communication, yeah? Because that person did for it what it couldn't do for itself. And it leaves a mark on that animal. Well, the same with this action figure. Yeah. And that to me is a high level of quote unquote being the action figure, is gratitude and wonder and awe. Yeah. And to try your best to express the inexpressible and laugh in the failing of it. Yeah. That it's impossible to express it. Yeah. I mean, some people could come to me and say, Paul, you've never not talked about this thing for 20 something years. Yeah. When are you going to move on to the next phase? Never. There's nothing new in non-duality. It's just an invitation. And I feel like I never get bored of the invitation. Yeah.
Yes, it's always fresh, for sure.
Yeah. So there you go. And that's how it's been. Who knows how it's going to be? And I'm not in that position to know. There's a statement we have in recovery, which is awesome. We're not in the outcome business, yeah? We're not in the outcome business. Yeah, it's just suit up and show up, see what happens, yeah?
Yeah, that's Bhagavad Gita as well. Yeah.
And when you show up and suit up and see what happens, over time, things galvanize. You have evidence that produces a being convinced. That's not of the conceptual mind. It's not of the dualistic mind. It's somewhere, but it can be found through the action figure, and it gets convinced, and there's peace in that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Paul, we have 1 minute left.
Well, nice to meet you, honey. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. 1 minute left. We're on a timetable today. What's happening at 5:31 that's so important?
Rhoda Macklin.
Oh, all right. Someone else? All right.
Yeah.
All
and
right,
we
so
love her too.
See, let's go. Let's say goodbye. Honey, thank you for running this asylum session. Yes. Connie, nice to see you again. Thanks for sticking with us, Connie. Appreciate it. Bodhi, pleasure to meet you again, my friend. Remember, Olala Berry, very important. We got Walter. Walter from the Netherlands. I know Walter. Nice to see you, bro. Tommy from Ireland. I've never seen him, but I know him pretty well now. Andy W. Always a pleasure to see you, Andy. Thank you for the astute questions. Yes. Angie, a pleasure to meet you. Yeah. We got, what is this, Goshi? We got Goshi and Bodhi. Wow, we got almost the same spelling. Nice to see you. Jacqueline, always a pleasure. Rhoda, yeah, the Rhoda is, yeah, tomorrow, Rhoda, just call me. I have wrote something down. I think you'll like it. I actually did it. It's pretty good.
Thanks, Paul. See you tomorrow.
You're welcome. Daniel, nice to see you, Daniel W. Glenda. Kerry, always a pleasure, Kerry. Basima, I think I may have got that wrong, but Marisol, nice to finally meet you, Marisol. We got Author Z, ATT Radio Computer. I don't know, some just numbers and word letters. We got Arta too. Well, all right. I think that's it. Hey, it's a pleasure spending some time on Tuesday. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.